Okay.
So I'm going to just start by saying hi. I'm going to kind of let Michelle take over on this call. But I'm really excited because we have a lot of faces on here. So I'm Brianna, Bree, as most people know me. Um, and Michelle, I think most of you know her, is going to be doing the team call tonight. And she had actually approached me a few weeks ago and said, hey, like I've been reflecting a lot about kind of how my journey has been since I became a coach, and I would love to share with others what I wish I would have known then. And I think that's great because so often we learn from our own mistakes and other people's mistakes in this business, and it's a constant trial and error. And so I can't wait to hear what you have to say, Michelle.
Okay, are you ready? And you're recording, right?
I'm recording.
Okay. So, hi everyone. Like Bree said, my name is Michelle. Can everybody see the screen? We're good there, I think, right? I guess unmute yourself and tell me if you can't see this for some reason. So I'll just give a little bit of the background. I have 3 kids, 11, 9, and 7. I have a very busy husband who works in the ER, worked with Bree for many years, and still works with some of the girls that are on this call right now. And so he obviously is full-time, crazy hours. I am a nurse 2 days a week in an outpatient oncology unit. And I give chemo and treat sick people and love on all sorts of cancer patients. And it is like, it's my passion. I absolutely love doing what I do. I'm thankful that we have the ability for me to do it 2 days a week, and so that I can be home and run my kids all over the place and kind of live the mom life too. So as far as Beachbody goes, 2 years ago right now, I was in my first challenge group with Bree, and she, advertised it on Facebook and, oh, what's this, what's that? And I said to my husband, I said, well, I don't want to get into all that like Shakeology crap. I mean, what's that all about, And Bree's doing this group, and I don't know about this. And he said, Michelle, knock it off and just do it. It'll be fine. So I joined, did P90X3, absolutely loved that group and fell in love with the products. Still wasn't drinking Shakeology necessarily, but love the products. Fast forward to August, and fell in love with 21 Day Fix Extreme. Bree asked me to be a coach. I hemmed and hawed a little bit, not too much, not too bad, but finally said yes. And then, so August, I guess it would have been of 2015. So about a year and a half ago is when I started as a coach and ran my first challenge group in October, must have been October 1st. So, and have really never looked back. I've done a lot of reflecting, and as Bree said, that's kind of how this idea for me to do a call came about, because in December of this year, I just really had a big dip in my business, and I really needed to reflect on why I'd done this and if I wanted to continue this. And so I'm going to touch on some of that in the call here, some of those thoughts. But I share that because looking back, I realized that I was very, very fortunate. When I started, I had an incredibly warm market, not a lot of Facebook friends. I started with about 200-300 Facebook friends, but a very warm market of people that I knew at work and at church primarily, that all jumped on board. And I had amazing challengers and challenge groups that totally got me off the ground. And I'm so, so grateful to that crowd because it just didn't stop flowing for about 9 months. People would refer to me. I, meet friends that way. Rarely did I ever have to reach out to someone I didn't know, if at all. And I'm looking back over all of that. I was, again, very fortunate, but I made some mistakes because of that. And so now The past 3-4 months have been a really big dip for me. And I think that dip came and was and really pulled me so low that I considered quitting. In December before Christmas, I considered quitting. And that might sound nuts, but I did. I put a lot of time into this business, a lot of thought, and it just wasn't where I thought it should be. So a lot of reflection, a lot of prayer, a lot of thought, and I'm certainly continuing this, but I'm hopeful that I can share some things with you that make you think a little bit about where you're at now. If you're a new coach, and maybe you can avoid maybe some of the mistakes I made, or maybe just be more aware of them so that you're moving forward in a positive way from where you are now. So that being said, what I know now, I wish I knew then. So we all know that Facebook gives us an amazing advantage, okay? And I'm only going to talk about Facebook. I'm only going to speak to that because that is really all that I use. I simply cannot wrap my mind around involving myself in another social media piece. My kids love Snapchat. Oh my gosh, like I don't even begin to know how to work that. They love the filters. They're not on Snapchat. But Instagram, I have an account, but I really don't know the ins and outs of that. And I just simply do not have the time. I may look back in another year and find that that's a mistake. But going forward, I have to focus on what I know and what has been successful for me. And so that's the advantage that Facebook gives us. I don't think I quite realized that when I first started. We talk a lot about, you'll hear a lot of coaches talk about Facebook affinity. And so I really wanted to do a little bit of research, and this is what I found. So, I'll read some of these to you, but obviously they're here for you to look at too. You need to and have to interact with your audience. Commenting on other people's posts, liking other people's posts, and messaging with them makes them see your posts more. I don't think I really believed that until I read it. I'd heard it said. I'd heard many people say that that was the case, but I really looked this up and Googled this and read some things about Facebook, and it is true. This is true. This is how Facebook works. So take advantage of that. One comment, and I thought this was interesting, was that in your posts, ask for likes, comments, and shares. A call to action on your post is huge. If people are liking your posts, they comment on your post because you asked them to, or they share your post, they see more of your posts. If you really watch, and if for some crazy reason you had hours of time on your hands and did a little experiment, you would see the same people liking your things a lot, all the time. And I really felt like that was true when I was running Facebook, or challenge groups on Facebook. I felt like the girls that were in my groups saw everything I was doing. That's one little disadvantage to the tracker app, I feel. But for me, I think the tracker app is, there's way more advantages, positives for it than there are against it. So the very best hours to post, if you don't know, are from 6 to 8 a.m., 11 to 1 p.m., and 6 to 9 p.m. And the highest traffic times on Facebook are Sunday through Wednesday evenings. So those are just the things I read. And I would say that's true. People have their phones, they have their computers open, they're looking at Facebook during those times. Excuse me. One thing that has been new to me is the voice messenger. So in the messenger app, or I guess I just use it on my phone. I haven't used it on the computer at all. I don't know if I can. There's a little microphone looking piece, or looking button, and you can hold and record up to a minute. And I've been using that a lot. It has hugely helped me to connect with people. People hear a voice and they connect better than they do with words. I don't know if that's it or if there's something else to it. But this aspect of Facebook is new to me and I absolutely love it. I just feel like I can verbalize things better than when I'm typing them. So I have been using this a lot and I've had good success. So, for what that's worth. Building your network. I'm not going to go a ton into that. In general, I guess, but top coaches would say that you should be adding people to your network every single day. I can say I've toyed with that a little bit. There was a time when I jumped from about 400 friends up to 1,000 friends in probably 3 months. I friended anyone and everyone and now I have a huge network. I'm up to about 1,400, but I made a big mistake because I don't know any of these people and they don't know me. There may be friends from high school, people from my hometown, but they are friends of friends of friends, and I don't know them. I made the mistake of adding and not really paying attention to them. And I'm not saying that everybody that you add, you need to send a message to, because you certainly don't. But that's a bigger piece of connecting on Facebook, because Facebook, for me and for most of us, Facebook is our world with Beachbody, and this is how our business is run. So it is hugely important. I do think there are all sorts of information out there about building networks. I'm just not going to go into a ton of that, but one mistake that I have made many times over, is just letting that market get so big and then not really knowing them at all. And then one more thing on Facebook, I would challenge you to write down 5 things that are you. So for instance, if you go to my Facebook page and my description says, I should have written them down because now I don't remember, but I think it says something like nurse, wife, mom, Christian. So I read some things somewhere, and many times I've read it. I used to have that I was a Beachbody coach on there, and I took that off. That's up to you. Again, this is your business. But I did, I can't even remember the video I watched, but someone recommended that. And so I took that off and I put who I was. Yes, I'm a Beachbody coach, and people will know that by what they see. But there's more to me than that. And that's what starts to connect you to people. So I would challenge you to write down 5 things that are you. I think that this conversation about who you are can morph into so much more that we don't have time for right now. But you really have to start, this is your business front. This is your storefront. So it has to be you. And I guess that's kind of all I'll say about that. I probably could go into a little bit more, but I won't tonight. Number 2, I wish I had known that it was a choice to be overwhelmed. So you could say this about a lot of things in life, right? There's always something more you can do. There's always a list a mile long of things that you could do just for your coaching business. But you will get overwhelmed, and you will possibly think about quitting if you try to do all of it. You have to prioritize what you need to do first. It's okay to say no to being in a group. It's okay to say no to running a challenge group that month. We all know that challenge groups propel our business forward and keep us connected to our customers. But it's okay to take a break. Okay. So I wrote here, experiencing the dip. I'm going to go into that a little more on a different piece. But we all need breaks. And so you have to make that conscious decision to not be overwhelmed by this. And then the last piece that I wrote, I kind of came up with this morning. I was in the shower where I do my best thinking. I'm sure that there's others that do that too. Or when I'm working out, which is really strange, but anyways. It's more about what you do in the hard times that builds your business. And that sounds a little bit backwards, but I have found, and I'll use the example of when I was training for a marathon. When I was the most tired and I didn't want to run any further, and I didn't want to do that last long run, the last couple miles of my long run, and it was too hot to do speed work, I had to make myself do it because that is what built me and that is what helped me finish my marathon. So you have to do, it's what you do in those hard times that builds you and therefore builds your business. So yeah, that's probably another topic we go to a lot more in depth, but I just felt like I needed to share that if you're going through a hard time, you need to keep going. You need to keep pushing, or you need to slow down a little bit. You need to make that decision in order to keep yourself healthy and your business essentially then healthy. Okay, so we say it right from the beginning. You're in a new coach group, and we get you connected to your why. And that kind of becomes a tagline, right? That kind of becomes something that everybody says. What's your why? Why are you doing this? Are you connected to it? But I've learned through the last couple of months how very important it is to stay connected. Because if it hadn't been for my why and my reason of doing this, I would have quit in December. And all of the work that I would have done in a year and a half would have been gone and done. So you have to find that why, and that why might change. Those reasons might change, and they might become stronger over time. I can say when I first did this, my why was to help people, and my why was to make money. And that is just being very honest with you. I wanted to make money to pay for my Shakeology, and I wanted to make money to pay for my vacation in the summer. I didn't let that over, that wasn't too overbearing for me. I don't feel like I pushed that on people, but my why has changed over time. So I won't go into all of the details of that, but it's so important to stay connected, okay? So if you're connected to your why, you need to be a dreamer, okay? And that sounds a little bit crazy, right? But you have to be, because this business can take you anywhere. I am a firm believer, and I don't need to go back to my running days again, but I learn, I'm just, that's where my head is sometimes. I'm a firm believer that anybody can do this business. And when I ran a marathon, people would say, oh, how'd you do that? What are you doing? And how did you make that happen? And that's such a long distance. But I believe that if you love to run, anyone can run a marathon. You just have to train and you have to be prepared. Anyone can do this business. They can. But you have to dream a little about it, and you have to imagine where you can get and where it will take you in order for it to be successful. Next, you don't have to be perfect. Stay connected to who you are and why you're doing this. People actually enjoy seeing your struggle. So I think we all probably have experienced that a little bit. It's okay to be real. You don't have to be perfect because nobody is perfect. Free groups, I personally have found to be a significant part of maintaining my connection to people. So whether that free group is an ab group, a water group, a clean eating group, I have found it, because it's free and people see free, I'm telling you, they come out of the woodwork and they want to learn from you, and you can just be a friend in that group. You don't have to sell or share anything if you don't want to. You can just be a friend and connect and get to know people. So over time, I don't run a free group every month. I just haven't made room for that. But over time, when I have run free groups, it's been some of the best experiences I've had in Beachbody, because there's just less stress about it, I guess. So there's that. I'll skip down a couple lines. Hosting a closed group, just touching base again on that free group thought process. Just as an example, I posted that I wanted to read the Made to Crave devotional and wondered if anyone wanted to join me. And I'm going to use that as a closed group, and I'm going to use it to get to know people that have already said they want to be in it that I have never heard from. They've never liked a single post of mine. And I'm going to simply use it to be a friend to people. In the past, I've run a family-friendly recipe group, again, a closed private Facebook group. I do think, I don't have proof of this per se, but I guess I do feel like people who are in these groups do end up seeing more of your posts because of the Facebook affinity. So there is that piece, but more importantly, I think that it's just so crucial to your business and to keeping you healthy in your head, to do this just to be a friend and to do something you enjoy with this. It's not that I don't enjoy my challenge groups, but they do have a different level of commitment and stress than a free group where you're just a friend and another person in that group just kind of organizing that group, I guess. I would encourage everyone to stay connected to your why by finding your one thing. I am reading that book right now. It's wonderful. I think Bree is too, called The One Thing. And it will really, really help you build trust and create your following. Whether that's blogging, Amanda, it does an amazing job of that. Whether cooking is your one thing, whether meal planning is your one thing, or working out, sharing those things with people. You find something that you really feel strongly about and do it. It keeps you connected and it connects others to you. So, okay, I already kind of touched on that bottom note. A couple more here. The value of being an unselfish leader for your team and for your challengers. I think I knew this back then, but I didn't realize the significant value of it. So again, I will reference my December dip, I'm going to call it, I guess. And I sent a message to Bree, I don't even remember when it was, early December. And I just said, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I can do this anymore. And she messaged me back with something that really hit home, and I want to share it with all of you. And I think that because of her unselfishness and because of her leadership, I've learned a lot of these things from her. So kudos to Bree, but we all know she's awesome anyway. So don't have regrets about your days. You cannot have regrets about how you spend your days. So if you are spending your days as a Beachbody coach, messaging people and creating challenge groups and doing all sorts of busy work, it's going to drive you crazy. And you're going to regret it, most likely. I know I would. I noticed in the summer when my kids were home that I had to really focus on not doing things on the computer all day long because I was busy, I was thinking, I was messaging people, I was getting messages. And I regretted some of those things during those days. And I had to work hard to not do those things during those days. And I think about regrets because I don't ever want my kids to look back, when maybe I have some level of success that we all can enjoy as a family, as a Beachbody coach, and say, yeah, mom worked really hard. She was at her computer all the time and she was always on her phone. And she never even looked up from her phone when I told her this and this and this. You cannot regret what you're doing. So your time is precious and this is your life. So do it well without regretting what you've done as far as your coaching goes, because it can consume you, right? We all know that. As far as your customers go, offering them the discount coach opportunity, allowing the use of the free 30-day trial, and being very patient with them is so important. Many, many times I have pushed people away. I know I have because it's been too much. They didn't want to hear about another program. They wanted the free 30-day trial, and I wasn't going to let them have that. So I've learned a lot over time with that. Offering the discount opportunity is just that. It's being unselfish. Because quite frankly, when you're at the beginning of this and they become a discount coach and that becomes a volume for you, it's a lot less payback financially at the beginning than it would be if you just had their commission. And so it's a sacrifice that way, because down the road, that volume will pay off and this will build your team. But you have to offer it to them unselfishly, because it really means more to them to have that discount at the beginning than it does to you. So that's kind of what I mean by that. The process of a full consult is invaluable. That is another one that we could probably do a full call on. And that is something that changes over time. And I learned a lot over time. I did not do this well at all in the beginning. And thank the good Lord for my very warm market of people that just loved me anyways, because if I got them the wrong program, they didn't tell me that. So we have to learn to consult and to learn to know who our audience is and who our customers are. I'd be happy to share whatever I know more about that. I don't know, like I said, that really could be a call in and of itself. Lindsay Gray is amazing at consultation and learning about people and questioning. And I've learned a lot from her and her comments about that. But I just really can't go into all of that right now. But really learning who your people are, I guess. And this is the last slide. So I wish I had known that if I'd wanted my business to grow, that I had to grow, okay? So, coach confession here. I started my very first personal development book like 2 weeks ago. So, I started it. I have read a few pages of The Compound Effect, but I never really got into it. So, personal development is huge. We all know that, right? And I do believe that a month ago, I would have likely felt differently about my business if I had been doing personal development all along. So I am pushing and sometimes forcing myself at night to read 2 to 3 pages of my book before I set it down and grab my novel because of my fiction, because I just can't live without reading that at night. So that's the first thing I skipped over, full program transformations. I also am guilty of waiting an entire to do a very full program. I did Max 30, Insanity Max 30. I finished it. I did pictures. I did measurements, which I'd done some of those things before, but I shared it. And I went on Facebook and shared it. I had never, ever shared my transformation before. And it took me a year to do that. On a very surface level, sharing that did help me reach more customers. But on a deeper level, finishing a full program and having a transformation and really being all in with that program gave me a mindset that made me a better challenger in my challenge group, made me a better coach. So I would encourage that. Lindsay Gray said that on one of her calls, and it really hit home. So hopefully that hits with someone here too. Sharing your results and struggles, we've talked about that. Giving your audience value, you want people to come back for more, and you have to educate yourself to do that. I listed, I was just kind of thinking and writing things, but the value and the ingredients of Shakeology, for example, that's just something that it took me a while to get on board with Shakeology. I absolutely love it, but to share it with people and be very real about sharing it, I really had to listen and learn about the value of it and the ingredients of it and how it helped people before I could share it. And my business would grow because of it. So that, I think, yeah, that's it. That's it. Oh, I can't hear you, Bree.
Yeah, there, is that better?
Yes.
Stop unshare, that way we can hopefully see everyone's faces.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was great. That was really good. I feel like you touched base on a lot of things. And if you don't mind, can I make I took notes. I was excelled in school, but So I just wanted to talk about a few things you said. In one, the messaging builds affinity. And so you guys, Michelle, I never even thought of this about when we did our challenge groups on Facebook. Then when you're making general posts about the coaching opportunity, you have all of your challengers who have high affinity to your Facebook posts. And I didn't even think of that. But I'll tell you what I will do strategically, and this is something that you can do, is if you say, I don't know, say you're doing a challenge group, and in your head you have a list of 5 people who you've seen kind of post, but you're not really messaging them. Send them a message in the morning, just a, hey, how are ya? Like, just a hi, out of the blue post. And then that night, post a call to action post. And so if you're really trying to target a few certain people, you can actually intentionally try to do that. You still don't know if your thing is going to show, if they're going to be on Facebook, you know, when you look at it, but you can definitely contact them. I've gotten into the habit of checking in with my challengers through private messenger every weekend. And then by doing that, even when you're talking about the coaching opportunity, the chances of them seeing your post is going to be higher. I also did a post this morning that tagged all of my challengers in it. I didn't ask for their permission. Maybe I should have. I mean, I don't think people care that everyone in Facebook world knows that they're in a challenge group because they're good things. But I did that too, which I might start doing, you know, once a month or something like that. So that's something to just keep in mind as far as trying to target your audience when you're making call to action posts. When Michelle talked about your why, so in our push group right now, everyone kind of got on and talked about your why. And this is so important. Everyone in here is going to experience a moment where you dip. I had a time when I seriously had a heart to heart with myself and whether I wanted to quit. So it's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's a matter of when it's going to happen. And I remember Lindsay will always say, your why needs to bring tears to your eyes. And when Michelle had shared her why, and it literally did, I don't think she meant for it to, but your why needs to be something so strong, and it doesn't have to start like that. You know, a lot of us kind of fall into this because we just feel this calling to do it, or we just love Beachbody. But we put a lot of time and we put a lot of heart and we put a lot of energy into it. And there will come a time when you're like, is it worth it? You know, is it worth this? And at those moments is when you really have to have a really strong why. And if you don't know what that is now, you know, just start thinking about it. Start thinking more, you know, deeper. Start reading personal development. I know this is the hardest thing for people to do. And I did it great when I started, and then I stopped doing it for a while, and then I picked up again. And I noticed when I stopped doing it, I complained more about Beachbody. There was a point when my husband said, if you're going to complain about this, I don't even think you should do it. You know, that's not why you did this. And it was sort of a reality check of okay, you're right. You know, why I need to figure out why I'm doing this. I'm not doing this to gripe. So yeah, personal development. And it's just, you will learn so much about yourself in time. For me, I read a lot of time management things because that's the biggest thing. I know a lot of you are working and just trying to figure out how to do chunks of time and manage your time and not get overwhelmed, not feel like you're ignoring your kids, not feel like you're not present. And I think especially for newer coaches on this call, for me, when I started, the biggest thing was put your phone away. You don't need to be on your phone 24/7. You don't need to be scrolling through Facebook. Facebook affinity is important, but put your phone away, you know, and that's okay to do. It's okay to not respond to people right away. If people want to buy something, whether you respond in 5 minutes or in 5 hours, if they change their mind that rapidly, then they're lost. That's how I see it anymore. And I'll tell my coaches, if you need to get in touch with me right away, send me a text message. Otherwise, I might not get to your Facebook message until tonight or tomorrow. And that's okay. So just know that people are okay with that. And then the consultations was the other thing I wanted to touch base on. If you have any general questions, it's important for you to use the back office and, know about the programs, but sometimes it can be something as simple as, hey, I have someone with hip problems. Has anyone done this program or referred this program, and what would you recommend? That's what the team page is for, to just throw out things, ask questions, people with certain disorders or I don't know, funny things like that. Sometimes, I don't know how many of you are on Goal Getters. I know there's a lot of medical people here. I let my medical attention get the best of me. They'll post, someone had an allergic reaction to did you guys, someone had an allergic reaction to strawberry Shakeology, but I want to get them the vanilla. And I'm like, no, you can't just go giving them a different one if they've had an allergic reaction. So that's the other thing that I guess I recommend is, even coming from a medical background, this is totally just going off of that, is if you have questions about Shakeology in certain medical conditions or whether or not they can take it with certain medicines, I don't go there with people. I never go there myself, even having a medical background. I refer everyone to their doctor. You can go into the online office, you can download a PDF file of the ingredient list, just as if you were looking at the back of the bag, and you can send that to someone, and then they can print that off and take that to their physician. And so that's just some advice that I would have regarding, Shakeology specifically in health conditions or medicines and that sort of thing. Even pregnancy, that's what I still do. I drank it while I was pregnant. I drink it while I'm nursing. I tell people that I do, but I recommend that they get the okay from their pediatrician or their obstetrician before they do it. So that's all I had to say.
Does anybody have any questions for me?
No, but I love the part that you were talking about, kind of trying to connect with people as you're adding them, because I feel like I've been really trying to add people to my Facebook, and I've noticed sometimes I'm scrolling through my news feed and I think, who is this? And then I have to click and try to remember who they are or where they're from. And so then I know if I'm thinking that, they're probably thinking the same thing. So, but it's I'm nervous to message those people because I don't know them as well. But I can see the point of kind of trying to do it while you go.
Yeah, and that's why it's really important to have a tracking system, or make sure you add those people to Teensy, because that will force you to cycle through.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to share something with you guys because it's incredibly embarrassing. But there's two people on Facebook. There's an Anna Vanderhyde and an Anna Vanderberg, and I guess I'm confused. And so I'm I'm having this conversation. I mean, it wasn't a long conversation, but she had liked something that I had messaged her. I'm like, oh, this is a perfect opportunity to just start talking. And then I said, how do you like being a paramedic? And then I continued on the conversation. And then that night I'm thinking, let me just double check. I'm sure in my head I knew who that was. And I looked, and sure enough, it's actually a girl I work with in X-ray who she works in X-ray, but I don't ever really work with her. So I was so embarrassed, and I was like, I'm I'm like, I must have been like not had any sleep when I asked you why you were a paramedic and then I just tried to be funny, like, unless of course you're a paramedic on the side and I don't know about it, and you just responded back like, oh, haha, that's funny, yeah, it happens.
Unfriend, no.
But yeah, it is, it's important to connect with people. And I kind of do it hit or miss, if you're adding people and, a lot of people's Facebook profiles are private, so you don't know, and then you add them and then you look through and they still don't have a lot of content to them. Sometimes there's not much to connect with, so. Does anyone else have any questions?
Do you guys just friend people when they pop up, like, oh, someone you might know, even if you only have like one mutual friend? Like, I only add them if I'm like, had like, I think a legit conversation with them, like, in person. Even if it's just one time, I'm a little hesitant to do that. But if it's only like, knowing someone through someone else, like, I'm always hesitant.
I kind of go back and forth with that because, quite frankly, I think I'm friends with almost everybody I know on Facebook. I feel like I am. But usually my kind of cutoff is like 7 mutual friends, and then I might friend them even if I don't know them personally. I want to say that there's something that's been said out there. If you friend too many people that you only have maybe one mutual friend with, Facebook. So I don't know the details of that, but you have to be careful about that. But no, I do friend people that I don't know. And again, looking back, maybe that's a mistake. I don't know. At the time, I didn't really know another way to continue to build my network. Because like I'm friends with everybody I know on Facebook. So that's kind of a tough one. I don't know. What do you think, Bree or Lindsay? I don't know who else is on.
Well, I agree with.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I agree with Michelle because I just friended somebody. She's a paramedic.
She's a real paramedic.
Are you sure?
She actually is a paramedic. And so I'm sure I see her in the ER all the time. I don't know that I've ever had a conversation with her, but we have a ton of mutual friends because I think she's friends with all of the nurses in the ER. And when I just did that post, that was like a call out for the coaching opportunity, she responded and said, yeah, I want to join a challenge group. And she wants to buy an all access challenge pack and do shakes. And I don't think I've ever had a conversation with her, but we have enough mutual friends that I think it's okay. So I think just friending random people that maybe only have one mutual friend with, not so much. But like Michelle said, if you have a bunch of mutual friends, even if you've not had a conversation with them, I think that it's good enough. I mean, it's working with her, so I think that that's a good approach.
I went through a phase where I like unfriended a whole bunch of people because I'm like, oh, I haven't talked to them in 5 years. But now I'm like, oh, can I refriend them?
They probably don't know you defriended them.
I know. But I was like, oh, I thought we were friends. You know how that goes.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Like if we have a number of friends, this is where I run into trouble. If it's anyone from like back home, high school, I have no problem friending them because, it's been a long time and so I don't remember half the people I talk to. The people that I'm most hesitant to befriend myself are actually people who are friends with everyone in the emergency department. And that's because I'm friends with a lot of people from the ER, but there's been a lot of new nurses who I don't know. Well, there's nothing. I made this, again, mistake. I added some people, and then you start passing them in the halls, and they think you know them because you friended them, and you're blowing up Facebook all the time, and you don't recognize their face, and that just is what it is. And so I'm actually really reluctant to add people, even if there's 30 mutual friends, when I can tell they must work in the ER now. Amanda,
And
you're
I
welcome.
can just-
I'll continue to give you all of those clients.
Yeah, I'll just talk to
them
them,
either.
or you can talk to them.
I don't send them friend requests either. I'm like, you guys, there's so many of you that are, coaches in the ER that they see so much of that. And they even made comments to Corey before. I'm like, seriously, people, it's Facebook. And I don't know what to say,
Yeah.
Some people take Facebook more seriously than others, I guess. I don't know. It's personal, it's just your comfort level.
Yeah, Alicia, I think you would be surprised though. I mean, do you get kind of random Facebook, like, even I feel like before I did Beachbody, if I didn't really know someone, I would, I might delay, I wouldn't like jump to accept their request right away. But the first thing I will do is look at mutual friends. And if we had a handful of mutual friends, I would just think, gosh, I must know them. And I don't even remember, like I don't remember meeting them or something like that. So I don't think people think it's weird at all. Maybe I'm the weird one. I don't know.
I know.
I think I did the same thing and friended a few people that I was like hesitant about, but then they accepted it. So kind of built my confidence a little bit, like just keep trying. Also, I heard Lindsay a couple times when she's like, why just ask them? If they say no, they say no. What's the difference? I mean, at least you tried.
Yeah, so another thing that I have started doing recently is even trying to, because I've never really reached out to my male market personally, because it's kind of awkward to just start making small talk with them, but especially ones like I will befriend their wives, even if I don't know their wives, and this could cause probably some issues, or whatnot, but there's someone I went to high school with who he had something and she has been like trying to lose weight and we've been having some conversations and stuff. So that's like a good way to kind of add to your market of, people, whoever you're kind of targeting, people like you. The other thing is I've actually had my husband tell me names of people who he thinks are like me. Like, who do you think you went to high school with or you friends with at work that would like to be into fitness or, who might be able to relate to me or something. And I've added them. And a lot of times if they just see that you're friends with your spouse, they'll add you. So that's another way that I've started to kind of grow my market a little bit.
I'm trying to get my husband to have Facebook, but he's been into the Facebook for years. I'm like, you have a lot of friends who have reached out to you to be like, hey, help me lose weight. And I'm like, hey, talk to them, please. I'm like, I'd like to have them.
Well, and Alicia has a lot of guys in her group. We were talking about that the other day, so she's doing a good job with that.
Yeah, and people are like, oh, my husband wants to join. I'm like, that's fine. I've had one guy who's been in my group since the beginning, and he's a nurse, so he's used to being around a whole bunch of women. But then I have 4 others now, so, and they actually are posting, so.
Good.
Rachel Brownsburg, I don't know if you can, but you have experience with that too, don't you?
I'm going to unmute you.
Can. Oh.
Hi.
Oh, there you go. Hi, Rach.
I did a couples challenge.
Oh, you're sideways. That's
I
fun.
don't know why. Yeah, I did a couples challenge. It was in December, I think. And so that was really fun. And what I did with that was I would try to post something every day, just our typical motivational thing. And then I would always also in the evening, I would make a post something about relationship advice.
Oh,
So that kind of made it fun. And, it was mostly people that were my husband and I are friends with from church. And so it was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Were the guys in the group pretty active, or did they kind of just sit back and?
They were actually, we had a couple couples who would actually work out together, and then some of them would do it separately, but they would both like log their workouts and stuff. So
Yeah. Oh, that's a
but
good
it was
idea.
the typical, they would do it for a couple weeks and then kind of trail off. So, but my
That's
husband
fun for like Valentine's Day, February.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that.
That's a good idea.
I even if it's not a full challenge group, I'm thinking like a 5-day free group, like that something has something to do with this and couples.
We can give away like a box of chocolates at the end.
Right.
So, is there any other questions or things that people want to touch base on with this call, or anything in general you're struggling with, you're excited about?
Can I ask one thing about you mentioned the 30-day free trial, and I might have missed it because my daughter was sending me messages to edit a paper for her at the same time. She'd already be in bed, but anyway. So like somebody I've been talking to like back and forth and thought she was going to join this challenge group. She didn't. She said she was going to do her own thing, some Dr. Oz 21-day something or other. Anyway, she sent me a message last night saying she had signed up for the free trial, and then she screenshots me an email from another coach that got her name as their person. And so how do you balance that? Like how do you, I guess I'm asking, like, how do you use that 30-day trial?
Yeah, I did not use it very much before maybe September. And then I ran a challenge that was a month long, and anybody could be in it. And I advertised it using the free trial. But the gist of that is that, and now I use it more frequently. So I have a few people who just simply, money is like their biggest objection, and I know where they're coming from. You just get to know where people and try to meet them where they're at. And so ultimately I end up offering them that, and it's a free 30-day trial. It's just the old style club membership. It's not all access, so it's not everything, but it is truly free for 30 days. Now, more specific to the girl that messaged you, Robin, when they do sign up, if they don't go through your website to do it, they will be assigned a coach to them. Just like when you're Emerald and you get free customers when you hit Success Club, you get a lot of those people that maybe sign up for a free or a 30-day or a 3-month club membership. You get those people. So someone else is getting her. However, you can do a coach change very easily.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned to her.
That's my very bottom line with any challenge group, is that they need their coach. No one can be in my challenge group unless I'm their coach. So that's like my, cutoff. I really push that they need to be doing Beachbody at least 3 to 4 days a week too, of course, just like most of you do. But does that help?
Yeah, and that's what I mentioned to her. I'm like, well, all that talking we've been doing, like, this is what I do. If you need to go beyond this 30 days, I'd love to be.
She won't know he's this person at all. It's just assigned to her. So that's usually what I say is, hey, I see that you signed up, or you're telling me you signed up for this. Do you mind, if you'd like to join the challenge group, I'd love to have you. We just need to get you switched to me for coach. It's a simple, easy online form. I would say most people don't have any issue doing that. It's a very easy thing to do.
It is a pretty easy form. I had somebody do it tonight, and I've also done it for people before.
Yeah, I do it for people too.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Do you know where to find that, Robin?
Yes, because I've had somebody do that already.
Yeah.
But I guess then my next question would be like, how do you balance like putting out your website information when you're like warming people up? Like, how do you balance between that to where like, this won't happen again, I guess is what I'm asking.
Yeah. No, I get that. And I think we all probably have had someone that signed up, just gone through, beachbody.com instead of Team Beachbody. And so I do try to give, if I think the conversation is going towards them really wanting to join, and at the very least, they're going to do the free membership, I do send out my website pretty quick so that they have that. And I do say, when you feel like you're ready to sign up, this is the link you'll go to. Then you'll click on shop and fitness programs or join and free 30-day trial. I try to give them kind of step by step. I don't put it out. It does take a few messages, I would say. A few messages before I do that. But yeah, we've all gotten burned by that, I'm sure.
I think at the beginning, I tell people my first challenge group, I had 3 people buy their programs off Amazon. And I look back and I blame it on me because I was talking about these programs and talking, and I didn't want to be salesy. And so I didn't want to throw it out there and be like, oh, go to my website and buy this. But in turn, like, they really wanted it. They were probably waiting for me to do that. So they went out and they figured out how to get it themselves. I think from what it sounds like, your person wasn't even I don't think that there was anything you probably could have done differently in your situation. And so we all still have people do the coach forms.
Okay.
And I'm just kind of aggressive about it. And I mean, not in a mean way, but I don't kind of like, if I've already been talking to them, I'll just say, oh, that's great. So unfortunately, they would have assigned you to a random coach that you don't even know. I would love to have you in my challenge group and like help, find a program that works for you. I'll just need you to fill out this form and then we'll get you plugged into the program. And so I don't really leave it as an option. I just say, you don't want to be with that random person. We're going to get you switched over to me and then we'll go from there,
Gotcha. I'll go ahead and send that to her, like how to do that now rather than later.
And as far as what I personally do with the free trial, so I require everyone in my challenge groups to be doing something Beachbody. I know some people open it up to be doing whatever. I make like one exception maybe a month, and that's usually based on someone with really bad arthritis or something where they can't do a lot of the moves that Beachbody has to offer. But if I'm going kind of through like my consultation with them, and it gets to the end where they're just basically like, no, I don't want to spend the money on it. Usually at that point, I'll say, you should consider, there is a 3-day, 30-day like free trial. You have to make sure you do it at the end, but it's a good way to try different programs. And so I usually will kind of throw that out when I feel like people want to do this, but they're having reservations. And I've had a lot of people do it, and then they like the workouts. They just want to know that what they're spending money on is of value to them. So that
makes sense.
Any other questions? No. So I just wanted to, this is totally separate, but Rachel, I wanted to talk about challenge groups because I think that you're probably not alone. Not all of you guys are in the push group that we're doing. That's just, we were kind of talking about different, things and ways to push forward. And I know Rachel had talked about just kind of struggling with people being motivated and to see people wanting to go into group after group. And so I decided I was going to kind of talk about it on here just because so many people are on. And I think a lot of people go through periods where they experience it. So challenge groups are hard because the people in the challenge groups literally feed off one another. And so the energy from like a few people in there, the others pick up on. And so I found when I have a dud group, it's like everyone's duds, you know, it's almost an all or nothing. Now I know Michelle had like a lot of rollover people. I think she was sort of in your shoes for a while. And so she can touch base on this more. She had created a veterans group. So if you have people that are wanting to be in the groups all the time, but they're not really doing Beachbody programs anymore, and they're not really participating, you can maybe just start a different group where you're not investing so much time when you're checking in, you know, every day or a few times a day. You know, that would be an option to kind of still have a place for them to be accountable. I think just reaching out to these people and figuring out, and I don't want to say you need to be harsh, but just being direct with them. Like, hey, so I've noticed you've been in the last 4 challenge groups. Like, what are your goals? Like, have you reached them? You know, and just really having those one-on-one conversations with them to try to figure that out. Like I had mentioned, and I know Lindsay started doing this, is touching base with your challengers. I'm trying to do it weekly. And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to take a lot of time. I don't want you to spend countless hours doing this, but I even will just do like a general few sentences, copy and paste to each one, and beforehand I'll do a few things specific to that person. But then after I get a response back, I'll usually do just a voice, the voice messenger, the voice property or whatever you call it through Messenger. And you could even start that. It's really quick. It's just like, hey, checking in. How is this week going? I loved your post. Or if they're not posting, like, hey, I didn't hear from you this week. You know, I want to hear back from you. So that's an option. And I think sometimes just getting new energy in there, sometimes a program specific. Was your couples one program specific?
No, I've tried doing that one time. I tried with Core de Force and I didn't get anybody else doing that one program. So I've always just kind of kept it open.
Okay. Some in the program specific ones, I'll be honest with you, I think are the most helpful when you have a new release because you're kind of promoting it and it's a new release. But if you want to do a program specific one and it's kind of like a general one, I would even team up with you or something, you know. Sometimes the Core de Force one that we did was Amanda and Lindsay and Michelle and Alicia. And it was awesome. Like sometimes even just getting 2 or 3 coaches into a group because they're posting and that can sometimes bring enough energy to get everyone else on.
Yeah, I like the idea of the veterans group because, see, like my thing is I have a lot of people who ordered when my first month, like back in September. So they have a program, they drink Shakeology, but I have a lot of people who are still drinking Shakeology, but they're not like posting, they're not posting workouts, they're seeing everything, not always commenting. So yeah, it's just kind of frustrating. And like I said in my other video, I think my aunt is actually buying Shakeology now on eBay, and it's just kind of awkward, you know. My mom's like, well, I'll just message her and be like, hey, where are you getting your Shakeology? But you know, when it's your family, it's a little awkward. And
Yeah.
but what do I do? Like not have her, let her be in my group when she's always the first one to be like, yeah, I'm in it. So, or I'm in for next month. So
Yeah. Are any of your Shakeology people, do they drink it every month?
That's what they get. Like my aunt, for example, hasn't ordered since August, but she's still like, she's in my group now and she'll every once in a while post a picture of it. So I know she's drinking it, you know?
Okay. Do you, or your other people who aren't really posting, you said that they're drinking Shakeology, are any of them discount coaches?
No.
Okay. So, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I think even when people become a discount coach, even if they're not doing anything more than drinking Shakeology, they feel that extra level of like accountability and they really want to like push forward to reach their goals. And so I think sometimes that can help. I don't know if you've talked to them about it at all. But I don't know. That's always kind of an option. You know, if they, I don't know, and maybe they don't want it. Maybe they just want to drink the shakes. I don't know. I guess what my biggest recommendation would be reaching out to each person and trying to kind of find what they're looking for and what their goals are. And that's not going to necessarily solve your challenge group problem. I think it sounds like you need new energy into them, and I think that will help a lot as well. I don't know, does anyone else have any suggestions? Things they've done with challenge groups? Amanda, you're muted, but you do really good at challenge groups.
Michelle, are you in her group?
No, Rachel and I don't do groups together anymore. I mean, well, I don't know if we ever did we? We talked about it, your first group, and then you were doing so good, you just decided not to.
I mean, this is Chelsea. She's the little phone thing that we can't see a picture of, but this is her first month doing a group, and I don't remember how many people she has, maybe 5 people. So it's not a huge group. So I'm still in her group posting. So she's posting regularly. I'm posting regularly. So I think at least that's some good energy to keep things going. If the people that are your challengers aren't posting all the time.
Rachel, that's one thing we haven't talked about before, and this could be helpful to everyone, but when I see kind of a little dip in business and I feel like I need new energy and new challengers, oftentimes I will, like at the last, within like the last 2 weeks of the group, I'll offer just a small prize for referrals, or ask anybody, do you have anybody you want to do this with? It's fun fun to do with a friend, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, they feel it. Very best customers come from a referral from a friend,
Well, wasn't Rachel a referral?
Yeah, Rachel was. She was from her sister. Exactly. Good point.
Well, and I actually tried that last month. I had prizes at the end of my groups, and so I had different things, with different ways people could earn points. So I said, one was for referring to a friend, one was posting and tagging me on Facebook, others were for doing your workout and drinking your shakes.
Yeah.
And so then at the end, one of my sisters won the prize, but even that didn't, I still didn't have a lot of people who, I do have like 4 or 5 people who do post and are very active in the group, but I have probably 3 or 4 who I think they like to get the little motivations, but then they don't share and participate. So it's kind of frustrating.
Yeah, it's sometimes, I mean, honestly, I don't know. We want to help everyone in the veterans group, I think was good, but sometimes I just will tell people like, the group is getting really full, unfortunately, like I have to focus these on people who are doing the body workout programs. And again, they don't have to buy it from me. They could borrow it from someone. They could be doing the 30-day on demand. And I just tell them it's because, I need to focus my attention on people who are really serious about getting results. And I know that this works. And I don't know. I mean, will walking every day get you results? Well, yeah, it will. Over a long period of time, but I guess I don't know. I guess I'm just a little more strict when it comes to my groups. A lot of times.
Rachel, you did that free group in December, didn't you?
Yeah.
Was that, did you have some new customers, some people that You haven't had before, I thought? Maybe you
I did have like 3 people who hadn't been in any of my groups before.
Good.
Then they didn't join my group this month yet. So hopefully in the future
Yeah.
they will.
Yeah, I mean, I find that's I don't always, it's not like an influx, a huge influx of people, but maybe over time. So that's good. What else? Anybody else have any ideas? I mean, we all struggle with this at times, that's for sure. It's not just you. I don't want you to feel that way.
Yeah, trust me, I've had months where I was like, I'm going to kick everyone out of this group because no one else even cares. And I think one of the bigger thing, like for me, and I want to say, I watched this thing that Melanie Mitro said that, show up every single day. Like she said, any group she does, whether it's, a push group, a push diamond, a push emerald group for her team, or a challenge group, even if no one else is showing up, she shows up every day and posts. And so I know personally I have found, and I've been guilty of this in the past, like when it's really a dud group, I'm not motivated to post my own workout and my own shake because all I look through is see my post all the time because I do a post in the morning and then I see my workout and then I see my shake. But I think it's just important to lead by example and make sure that you're showing up, regardless of whether anyone else in there is, and that helps as well. But yeah, we have all been there. It's hard to find what motivates other people. It's really hard to find what motivates other people. And I think one of the harder things is a lot of people are motivated, but they don't show it. They don't comment, they don't post, and they might be getting great results. And that's why I found checking in personally with them has helped.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I have a question about, so before when we would sign up a coach, and the $40 would be waived if they buy a challenge pack. Is that waived if they do the all access?
Mm-hmm.
But then if it's somebody that already just did the all access pass but didn't do Shakeology, and then if they end up signing up for coach, would they just buy a regular challenge pack even though they already really have all the programs? They would just get the actual DVD? Because I was just thinking, I have one person in the live coach group that she just signed up for the 99-day all access pass. But
I've been worried about that too. I feel like that I read something about upgrading to a challenge pack. Isn't there a window of time to do that?
I think it was just for the December challenge packs.
I know that. I think that's going to be a problem too. I agree with you, Lindsay. I think they're just going to have to pay the $40 coach fee.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've thought about that too, and maybe they haven't thought about it that well. So if she decides to, what I would do is I would chat with customer service and just verify and make sure there's not any other option.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't there like a code, like that $40 waiver fee if you bought a challenge pack at any time?
It is.
Yes.
But I think she's saying her coach hasn't ever bought in a challenge pack.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
Just bought the all access. Is that right, Linz?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know. I have a couple people that I'm kind of worrying about that for too.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly. Nothing.
Right. I mean, it's such a great deal. The all access
Mm-hmm.
pass is a great deal, but it just changes a little bit how things.
Yeah. It is only available until the end of February though.
Yeah.
So
like,
I mean,
will they get rid of it all? Like they won't have the all access at all, or will it be more expensive?
The wake up call about it said it likely would be more expensive.
Okay,
That's
so
how I
it's
took it.
option, but more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, we won't know until, a week before the end of February, but it's going to go away at that price. So, yeah, let me know what you find out, Lindsay, if that does end up happening, though, because I'm concerned about that too.
Yeah.
And I don't think that if you sign up as a coach with Shakeology, there's any. I've had one person do that, not with a challenge pack, but with Shakeology, and I think, yeah, I'm sure she still had to pay her $40.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it would still be cheaper for her to buy a challenge pack and just have the copies of the DVDs of whatever program.
Right.
Like if she bought
Or gift it. Yeah, she could gift it to someone, you know.
It totally would be cheaper. That's the crazy thing.
I mean, then
Yeah.
just the home direct and
Right.
but so we'll see.
All right. Well, it's way past my bedtime, so if there's nothing else that anyone wants to ask or touch base on, then we'll let you guys go. Thanks again for talking, Michelle.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. My pleasure.
I feel like we do this every time. Does anyone know how to take a picture?
It's a screenshot, but we're not all in a big, pretty little group.
You can change it to be in.
We are on my screen.
There's an icon.
Oh, yeah, there you are on my screen too. Oh, man, I wish I had that the whole time.
Oh.
It's a button on your computer, isn't it? The screenshot button? Or no?
There might be. It's an Apple. I don't know. It's fine if we can't.
Let me Google it.
I could take a picture with my phone.
That's what I've done before. Like you try to
Get everyone.
undercover.
Okay, let's fit the way I'll figure that out next time.
All right.
Press Shift Command 3.
Oh, you can go back. Shift Command 3.
If you have a Mac.
Oh, just 3 or F3.
There was a picture.
I was shocked.
I don't know where it's saving it, but it's going click, 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 click.
Did you do it, Amanda?
Pardon?
Did you do it?
I did. It made a camera shutter noise.
Yeah. It says it's going to be a .png file on your desktop.
Oh.
Okay, sounds good. Well, have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.